Bill O'Reilly here, Thursday, October 14th, 2021. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening across our nation. President Biden addressing the country as the economy stalls. Crime forces Walgreens to get out of San Francisco. Mayor de Blasio boots Thomas Jefferson from New York City Hall. A school in Seattle cancels Halloween because of woke stuff. Also ahead, I am going to interview Donald Trump today after this broadcast. I will preview it for you. But first, the president delivering a 10-minute speech as everyday products become harder to find for all Americans. Supply chain problems now affecting everything from sneakers to car parts. Mr. Biden instructing the nation's busiest ports to work 24 hours a day until the bottlenecks are broken. Economists believe the crisis is also caused by a shortage of workers. 16 million Americans are now relying on unemployment checks from the government, and many of them simply have no interest in working. Walgreens shuttering 5 more stores in the Bay Area, the company blaming the closures on organized retail crime. A spokesperson confirming theft at those Walgreens stores in San Francisco are 5 times higher than the national average. Walgreens currently spends 46 times more money on security in the city by the Bay than any other location in the country. Some shops, like Target, close before dark to protect employees. The reason San Francisco prosecutors will not charge thieves with crimes. That's the reason. New York City Mayor de Blasio removing a statue of Thomas Jefferson from City Hall. The monument was first put there in 1833 to honor the 3rd president of the United States. But Thomas Jefferson had slaves, so de Blasio is kicking him out. That's just stupid. Jefferson was the architect of American democracy. An elementary school in Seattle, Washington, ditching its annual Halloween party because the event, quote, marginalizes students of color who do not celebrate Halloween. When is this stuff gonna stop? Yeah, hurt all the other kids because you're woke. In a moment, a preview of my upcoming interview with Donald Trump. Right back. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation honoring America's heroes and their families with 200 mortgage-free homes this year. Amazing. In a moving tribute to the fallen, the foundation's chairman and CEO walked from the Pentagon to Shanksville, Pennsylvania, then on to Ground Zero, more than 500 miles through 6 states in 42 days. Thanks to your support, the foundation brought Towers of Light back to the Pentagon and Shanksville memorials in remembrance. And in a first for America, the foundation read aloud the names of those who lost their lives to 9/11 related illness. On Veterans Day, another first will arrive. The foundation is reading aloud the names of people lost in the war on terror. So please do some good and help America never forget. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org. Great cause. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. Later on, I will interview the 45th President of the United States in Palm Beach, Florida. So you can see I'm a little bit busy today, but that's all right. This broadcast is my top priority. Now, you can hear some of the interview on this program, the O'Reilly Update, Monday. You can watch the entire chat on BillO'Reilly.com on the No Spin News. That'll be posted Monday evening. Now, Mr. Trump has caught a major break because President Biden is having so much trouble. And polls show Republicans still favor Donald Trump far more than anybody else in the GOP who might run for president in 2024. So this interview that I'm doing today will be about looking ahead, not behind. Now, I've interviewed Donald Trump scores of times, as you may know, and I even wrote a book about him called The United States of Trump. He is not an easy guy to interrogate. He basically answers questions in what they call a stream of consciousness. Whatever pops into his mind, he goes there. And sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with the question asked. So my task, and it's a large one today, is to focus Donald Trump on the future, on what he would like to accomplish and how he thinks he can do that. Remember, Joe Biden didn't really win the presidency because people wanted Joe Biden in the White House. He won because more people didn't like Donald Trump than liked him. Now, I know many of you think there was fraud in the election, and so do I. But there has not been any hard evidence produced to say that fraud is large enough to overturn the vote. And that is not going to change. So we must march forward. If Donald Trump wants to run again for president, and remember, only one other man in the history of this country has done this successfully, Grover Cleveland. He was elected to 2 non-consecutive terms. So if Mr. Trump wants to emulate Grover Cleveland, he has got to hone his strategy a bit. He's got to make some changes. And that is what I am going to talk about today. Now, he may say, I'm not going to make any changes. I'm going to be the same old guy. But I have follow-up questions to that are pretty interesting. And as you know, I base all of my interviews, my analysis, everything I do as a journalist on facts. So once again, after this broadcast, I'll get on a plane, I'll go down to Florida, I'll interview Mr. Trump. That will be available on the O'Reilly Update Monday. You'll hear some of it, but the whole thing will be on BillO'Reilly.com. And we urge you to take a look at my website and sign up for premium membership. You will be very, very pleased with it. I guarantee it. I'm Bill O'Reilly. I approve the message by writing it. For more honest news analysis, as I said, BillO'Reilly.com has it. And you can write me, Bill@BillO'Reilly.com. In a moment, something you might not know. Listen, if you haven't taken advantage of these record low mortgage rates, now is the time. They're not going to be here much longer. Fed Chief Janet Yellen has actually said that. Every day that passes, you know what's going to happen. We're at risk of seeing higher rates, and it's going to cost you money. So please find out what your options are right now. You can get a free mortgage review by calling our friends at American Financing, where you can save up to $1,000 a month. And you can pre-qualify right now by calling 888-462-9557. 888-462-9557. Or visit AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334 and MLSConsumerAccess.org. Now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. On this day, in 1964, civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his nonviolent resistance to racism in America. At just 35 years old, the Georgia-born preacher was the youngest man ever to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. Said Dr. King during his acceptance speech, quote, "I accept the Nobel Prize for Peace at a moment when 22 million Negroes of the United States of America are engaged in a creative battle to end the long night of racial injustice," unquote. Dr. King's campaign for equality began back in 1955 with the Montgomery, Alabama bus boycott and continued until his assassination in April 1968. Throughout his journey, the civil rights leader traveled more than 6 million miles, and delivered 3,000 speeches. He was imprisoned 29 times for civil disobedience, loitering, inciting violence, and other trumped-up charges. In 1958, Dr. King was nearly killed while signing copies of his book at a department store in Harlem, New York. A woman plunged a 7-inch letter opener into his chest, the tip resting inches from his heart. From his hospital bed, where he spent weeks, Dr. King issued a statement affirming his nonviolent principles and saying he felt no ill will toward his mentally ill attacker. Today, there are more than 1,000 streets named after MLK in all 50 states. And here's something else you might not know. In his final public address, Dr. Martin Luther King foretold his own murder. One day before the assassination, Dr. King was in Memphis to speak with African American sanitation workers. At Mason Temple Church, the civil rights leader told the crowd, quote, "I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord." The next day, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. was shot dead. He is now with the Lord. Back after this. Are you looking for your next investment? Bill O'Reilly here. There are 7 reasons to look at the NRIA Real Estate Development Fund. Monthly cash flow payouts of 10% annualized. Bonuses to 21% targeted. They strategically locate in lower risk, high demand areas people want to move to. New construction is short on supply. Real estate affords diversification and safety from stock market risk. Their short and long-term strategy provides for steady returns right now. NRIA is an industry leader with a 15-year proven track record. So, if you've been sitting on the sidelines or want to diversify, start your due diligence at nria.net. Or you can call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.